We have a breach of the Capitol. Breach of the Capitol to the upper level.
January 6th, 2021.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength and you have to be strong. We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. You don't concede when there's theft involved.
A mob, inspired by then-President Trump's election lies, staged a deadly riot, storming Congress. An assault on the heart of democracy, an effort to subvert the will of the people, an insurrection attempt praised by Trump as an act of patriotism.
We fight like hell, and if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
Today, there are swathes of America still very much in the grip of this false yet pervasive notion that Donald Trump had the 2020 election stolen from him. Places like Georgia, the state that's become synonymous with an infamous phone call.
So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have.
President Trump appearing to demand Georgia's Secretary of State concoct votes for him that simply don't exist, so he can flip the state from blue to red. That call formed just one part of an alleged widespread pressure campaign that landed Trump with criminal charges in a trial yet to take place. In the meantime, he and his allies are laying the groundwork to contest another loss. Dozens of Republicans who were so-called fake electors in 2020 are currently serving as official electors in battleground states this year. These are people who, last election, intentionally tried to submit documents wrongfully declaring Trump the winner in their states. The former president has already suggested without evidence that Democrats could use illegal immigrants or mail-in ballots to cheat, stoking fears that he'll cry foul again. And several Republican-controlled legislatures have opened the door to chaotic confrontations, perhaps even civil unrest, by expanding access for partisan observers at vote-counting locations.
What we see is that the MAGA Trump influence, those activists and voter fraud conspiracy theorists have worked their way into election administration and power at all levels of government to be able to successfully do what they tried to do and failed 4 years ago, which is overturn an election result that they did not like.
I'm calling to order the Tuesday, October 8th, 2024 session of the State Election Board.
A new set of rules also granted this body, Georgia's pro-Trump majority electoral board, greater control over procedures. So we're inside the state capital, and such are the stakes in Georgia, and frankly because of the politicization of the electoral process here, what happens in America in November or beyond could well hinge on what goes on in this very building. Some of the board's powers were since struck down by a judge who said the changes were unconstitutional. He ruled officials can't legally refuse to certify results, and their proposal to hand count each ballot was rebuffed by the state's Supreme Court. For Democrats, the solution to all this is very simple. The best way to tackle unfounded allegations of voter fraud or a tampered process is to show up. In other words, mobilize turnout, make sure the result isn't close, and deliver a victory so convincing that it's effectively too big to risk. It's why Senator Warnock, a celebrity in his own right in these parts, has brought along a Georgia-born Hollywood star to make some calls for Kamala. Actress Julia Roberts swung by a phone banking session, hoping to press the flesh and press the right buttons.
Hey, girl.
To lock in votes for Vice President Harris. The strategy is working. The country's seen record-high early voting numbers, with millions of people submitting their ballot well before Election Day itself. Yet, Even if the safeguards hold, and especially if turnout is high, counting and verifying votes could drag on for days. Any delay would give Donald Trump an opportunity to cast doubt on an outcome, undermine confidence in the system, launch a litany of lawsuits, and possibly encourage his supporters to protest. Newly elected lawmakers will convene for the congressional certification of the Electoral College on January 6, 2025. A peaceful transfer of power is by no means guaranteed. Benji Haya, CNA, Georgia.